Well, it gives me a real great pleasure to be able to invite Andrew Day. He is the Churchwarden at St Paul's in Barton, Newport, and he is also a self-employed piano tuner on the Isle of Wight. And I've just got a number of questions for him as we've all gone through the lockdown. So welcome, Andrew, and I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. It's very hot in Newport. I know we're recording this evening, but it's very hot in Newport today. It's Wednesday, but
and it's sweltering here. I mean, it really is sticking. So obviously, it's been about 14 weeks now, and we're just wondering, how did the lockdown initially affect you? Because obviously, you're a self-employed piano tuner here on the Isle of Wight.
Well, initially it was really difficult because as my job involves me going around people's houses. So that was a bit of an issue to start with, but obviously I can't take my work home with me. So really for April, I didn't do very much tuning, but work has kind of picked up now. And it picked up through May and June as well. So it's picked up to not normal levels, but it's picked up. It's fine.
But you're surviving.
We're surviving. The Lord is good.
And what would you say have been the biggest challenges for you and perhaps the family during this time?
Well, I like to be quite a busy person in one respect. I like to be doing something. So in a way, I suppose it was what do I do with my spare time? That was a bit of a challenge in itself. And I felt I was on a bit of an enforced sabbatical, if that's a good description. But I've enjoyed spending time with the family, going out on my bike. I enjoy going out on my bike. But one thing that's really I've really enjoyed actually, or got into the habit of doing, is going down our little summer house at the bottom of the garden and doing morning prayer and praying and looking at the Bible readings for the morning and set for the day. And that's been something I've really felt really blessed by and actually built up in my faith by. So that's one of the things that I'm going to continue to do. In fact, I might even just adjust some of my first tuning times to give me that extra time in the morning to go and sit in the summer house and just be with the Lord, really.
And obviously, in terms of us churches, both ourselves and yourself, we've had to adapt to a new environment. So what particular challenges have you found in moving to live online services at St Paul's?
Well, I suppose that the one thing we've had to learn to do is to speak to camera, which you look at the camera, but you get no feedback. And I think that's one of the challenges of doing live service, where you look at a camera, but you've got no people are looking, but you can't see their faces and their reactions. So that's definitely a challenge. I would say worshipping from doing live worship from this conservatory has been quite an interesting challenge, and get to grips with things like Facebook, the tech, and YouTube and stuff like that, which really, Facebook Live I've never really done before. But Liz and I have got two fabulous children, and Tristan is fantastic at tech, and really he's come to the rescue with us to
absolutely
do stuff like live. I mean, I'd never heard of the words of live, kind of like streaming keys or Zoom or OBS up until a few weeks ago, but he's done a fantastic job for it. So that's been one of the challenges, really.
And finally, what are your hopes for how we do church when we're able to move back into our buildings? And it's a fast-moving environment, even just some of the things that have been announced today, but perhaps particularly looking at the future for future online provision.
Well, I think as Christians, we do need to meet collectively, and I think scripturally we do have to meet in person.
Yeah.
However, what I think we've realised over the last 3 months is that we can be church online, and actually the audience if that's the right word, the number of people it's reaching is way more than we would do with just meeting on a Sunday morning. I mean, the numbers are quite staggeringly high at some point. So actually we've learned something, but also perhaps not to, whilst we love our church buildings, in another way, we've learned not to rely on our church buildings, because the church is actually the people. So,
absolutely.
So as Christians, we've learned something new, and we've learned a way of connecting to people, which I think in the future has to be embraced, as well as meeting physically, which is obviously really important as well.
And for me, it's been quite gratifying to bump into people in Lidl's or the shops, and they suddenly said, "I saw you on YouTube." Really?
Yeah.
So it's quite gratifying. Actually, and actually to get to know people is wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's really good to have been able to have you for this interview. And of course, we wish every blessing on St Paul's in Newport for the present and indeed for the future. So thank you for joining me, Andrew.
Thank you, Mark.
I've been Mark Williams from Christchurch and St Paul's in Sandown.
And I've been Andrew Day from St Paul's, Barton and Newport. And this, I suppose, is Isle of Wight Unscripted.